Thank you so much, Sharon. Good morning, everybody. My name is Kelly, and the theme for January 2022 is Living Through Everyday Wonder. The topic for today is Wonder, Wonder Everywhere. I offer you two quotes to ponder today. The first is from Rachel Carson, who once said, "The more clearly we can focus our attention on the wonders and realities of the universe about us, the less taste we shall have for destruction." And Valerie Carr saw this connection. If you remember how to wonder, then you already have what you need to learn how to love. Let's affirm together, I live in a state of pure wonder, a state of pure love. And now it's my honor to introduce our wonderful and loving Reverend Kathleen.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I'd like to start with a story. This is a story that I read recently. It was a story about a 5-year-old in a doctor's office. And after her mother had asked many, many questions, very worried questions about the child's health, the doctor turned to the child and said, "So, do you have any questions?" And she thought for a moment, and she looked up at the ceiling, and she actually pointed up to the ceiling, and she said, "Have you ever wondered how it feels to be a bat hanging upside down?" I love that story. I love that story because it really speaks to what we're talking about this month in such a beautiful and innocent and perfect way. We can either go around in a contracted state of worry, or we can shift into an expansive state of wonder. Which do you choose? I know what I choose. So this month, then, we are exploring this realm of existence called wonder. And wonder, in truth, is everywhere. It's just waiting for us to awaken to it. Think about it. Where is wonder? If it's everywhere present, well, then it's in that camera that's pointing at me right now. It's in this podium. It's in my daughter that's sitting over there.
Hold on just a second, Reverend Kathleen. People
Yeah.
are saying that you're very quiet, so I want to make sure we have the right speaker in place here.
Okay.
It says same as system. Which one do we need to switch to? The
Okay, it looks like we need to do something about the camera.
Just a little more audio.
Oh, just on that one.
Are you turning it up?
Okay. So,
How's that, everybody? Can give me thumbs up if that's better.
okay. That's
Okay.
better. I think we're good.
You know what? I'm gonna do the story again because maybe you didn't hear me.
No, it was loud enough.
Oh, you heard the story? Okay, cool. Okay, so yes, wonder is everywhere. And all you need to do is look around your room in this moment and just pick up an object. I have a pair of glasses here. Wonder everywhere. Just like Shia was telling us that she was doing with the children. So, in truth, we live in Wonderland. We live in Wonderland. Think about that. The Alice in Wonderland. We live in Wonderland right here and right now. And when you move through Wonderland with a sense of wonder, in other words, you're awakened to that we are in Wonderland, your mind expands like that little child's did, and you begin to be curious and ask questions. And in the process, become acquainted with, connected with the magnificence of life. And that means it's love for you to give you such beauty and so many opportunities to explore it. Your mind expands, your heart opens, and there is finally an awareness that miracles are happening all over the place, all the time. So today, I'd like you to join me in exploring this thing called wonder, by orienting ourselves more fully to wonder, by exploring how wonder reveals the oneness and the interconnectedness of all life. And then finally, how when we experience wonder, it becomes the wellspring of love. So orienting to wonder. I'd like to start off with a quote by Guru Nanak, the first teacher in the Sikh faith, who once said, when he had an awakening experience that I'll talk about in a few minutes, but he began to look around him from this awakened state, and he said, "Wondrous are the forms, wondrous are the colors. Wondrous are the beings who wander around unclothed. Wondrous is the wind, wondrous is the water, wondrous is the fire." And he goes on and on and on in that same vein. And he finally ends it with, "Beholding these wonders, I am wonderstruck." And his final statement is, "Those who understand this are blessed. Those who understand this are blessed." So beholding with eyes of wonder, beholding everything with eyes of wonder. And I love that word, beholding. There's something very sacred about it, because it's getting the whole entire being involved, not just the eyes or the ears, but bringing the whole being into beholding. Beholding wonder, then, is seeing the divine present in everyone and everything. Everything becomes sacred. And so what that means then is that we are blessed. We're in an exalted state. That exalted state that you hear about and maybe you've experienced of the mystic. And that's what this is. This is a mystical teaching. It really is encouraging us to live as modern, everyday mystics in a state of wonder, exalted state. And in exalted state, we are in this very expanded state in which miracles, seeming miracles, we know that there's a universal law behind all of this, but seeming miracles happen wherever we go because we're awake to it. And so we are blessed, and it blesses everyone around us, because who does not want to be with someone in an exalted state? It's a joy. It's about being in the presence of someone who's living in joy. So as Shaya was describing, this is something I was also having in my talk here today, is you can take an object, and I was going to, this was something that Johnny the plumber left in our offering plate at the World Healing event. And I thought this might be a really beautiful object to use as something to contemplate. So in contemplative meditation, we choose an object and then we just focus on it. And as we do so, we can ask questions like, okay, what color or colors is it? What is that design that's on it? What is the meaning behind the various designs? I'm seeing a tree of life, and I'm seeing these designs that kind of remind me of an Egyptian design. And it seems to be copper with maybe brass or gold or something around it. And I wonder who conceived of the idea of making this particular bowl. And I wonder what it can be used for. What are the many uses that it can be, that I could use it for? And how about the movement of my hands, my body, as I'm using it, as I'm holding it? Think of the miracle of just moving, being able to move my hand and hold it in whatever way that I choose. So you can see as you continue to contemplate something like this, you begin to move in a state of the miraculous, a state of wonder that is very expansive, very exalted. And this practice can then be transferred to your everyday activities as we begin to wonder, like the child did. I wonder how it feels to hang from the ceiling as a bat. When I even contemplate those things, I get this rush of energy that moves through me. It's the feeling of life. It's feeling totally alive and so enthusiastic and thrilled to be alive. So let me just give you a personal experience that I had yesterday. I decided to take a walk out around our neighborhood. We have a neighborhood that connects to another neighborhood across the street, so I just walked through the neighborhood with an intention to see everything with the eyes of wonder. So I stretched up my arms and I said, "Spirit, show me the wonders of this day." And at that, I began to move through the neighborhood, and the sun was fairly low at that point. It was around 4 o'clock, and I noticed when I looked at the treetops, the trees now, in the winter are bare. They were this most gorgeous shade of burnt orange with the sun hitting them. I'm like, wow, look at that. And then comparing that to the ones where the sun could not reach, and the different colors, and just in awe of the whole thing. And I continue to move around, and the neighbors, two of the neighbors' dogs come up to me, and I'm petting these dogs, and the dogs are like so delighted to see me, and I'm just in awe and wonder of this connection between my neighbor's dogs and me, and I'm of course waving at him off in the distance. And then I continue to look at the beauty of the snow blanketing everything. It's so gorgeous. And then at that moment, my phone rang. I had my phone in my pocket, and I answered it, and it was Michelle, my daughter Michelle, who's sitting right over here. And she had something that she wanted to discuss with me, and I said, "Michelle, guess what I'm doing?" And she said, "What are you doing, Mom?" And I said, she said, "It sounds like you're walking outside." And I said, "Yeah, I'm taking a wonder walk through Wonderland." Right, Michelle? I'm taking a wonder walk through Wonderland. Wow, I was thinking, what if I could just have that as my general attitude, not just something that I practice occasionally, and how much more alive and expansive that I would feel. I'm taking a walk through Wonderland, whether I'm out in my neighborhood or I'm walking through my house. I'm taking a walk through Wonderland. So wonder, wonder everywhere. The awe-inspiring beauty of life that is everywhere present, all of it. The presence of God in full and glorious splendor. So number 2, I wanted to talk about wonder reveals oneness. And so now I'll offer you the story about Guru Nanak. So 5 centuries ago in Punjab, India, there lived this young man named Nanak. And he was greatly troubled by all of the violence between the Muslims and the Hindus at that time. And he just wanted to get off and be by himself, so he left and he went down the riverbank. And he was gone for 3 days. The villagers were beginning to worry about him. Had he drowned? Had he died? And then suddenly on the 3rd day he emerged. And he emerged full of light, eyes sparkling. and something had truly happened with him. And he said that he had this vision of oneness, ik ankar. Many of you may hear this when you hear some of the chants, ik ankar, oneness. The vision of oneness, the oneness of humanity and of the world. And this vision threw him into an ecstatic state of wonder. He began singing and praising the divine within him and all around him. He was in love with life. Notice the connection between wonder and love. And so love then, the love that welled up within him, made him see life with new eyes. And this is what is very unique to him. He said he saw everyone around him as part of him that he did not yet know. Everyone as part of him that he did not yet know. He said, I see no stranger, I see no enemy. And he taught that not only was he able to do this, but we are all able to do this. We are all able to begin to see with these eyes of wonder and to realize that there are no enemies, there are no strangers, that in truth everyone is a part of us that we don't yet maybe know fully. So he began by explaining that there is within each of us this I, with a capital I, the I am, the I, that sees itself as separate from you. It resides in an individual, what he called bowl of consciousness. And it creates a sense of separateness. And so when we meditate, when we pray, when we chant, these different forms of meditation and prayer, it breaks the bowl of separation. And for a moment, we taste the sweet nectar of oneness. That delightful sense of oneness where we are part of one another and we belong to one another. Joy rushes in. And here's the thing, even after that moment passes in meditation, because we've had that experience, we can bring that remembrance with us into our daily lives, even when we're not feeling it at that moment. So wonder reveals oneness, our interconnection with all of life, our interdependence. And it's evident in all the different faiths. I'm just going to give you a few examples. In the ancient Sanskrit of the Hindus, there's a saying, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Tat Vam Asi, means I am that. It's the same message that Guru Nanak was giving. I am that. I am one with all. In the African philosophy, it's Ubuntu. I am because you are. In the Mayan tradition, In La Kek. It means you are my other me. You are my other me. And Guru Nanak, of course, you are part of me that I don't yet know. Failure to wonder keeps us locked in separation. And therefore, that's what we're seeing on our planet at this point in time when we see destruction of the planet, war, all of these forms of violence and abuse of the planet. And distrust, the divisiveness. So practicing wonder then is a beautiful remedy in consciousness for all that ails our civilization and our planet. Practicing wonder awakens us to oneness, interconnectedness. It's a high call. And I'm inviting you to get involved in this high call, to hear the high call and to respond to it in this moment. It's a high call of living in wonder, which keeps us connected to oneness, which opens our hearts to love and opens our minds to all possibility, to solutions and innovations that are so needed on this planet right now. Wonder, wonder everywhere. And finally, wonder is the wellspring of love. Valerie Kaur, who is an amazing contemporary of ours. She's a Sikh, or Sikh, I'm sorry, some people say Sikh, but it's actually pronounced Sikh, the Sikh faith. She's a social justice activist. I saw her speaking at the World Parliament of Religions, and you can, if you want to tune into that, you can find it on YouTube if you look up her name. And she basically said this: when you orient yourself to wonder, then it becomes possible to wonder about other people. As you do, you sense their vastness and complexity. When you choose to wonder about people that you don't know, you expand your circle of those that you see as part of you that you don't yet know. It increases your empathy and compassion. Wonder is where love begins. And she, being a young mother, equates love to childbirth. She uses that analogy that love, like childbirth, is a form of sweet labor, fierce and life-giving, a choice we make over and over and over again. It's a choice, not just a feeling, it's a choice. It's an action. Love can be taught, modeled, and practiced. This labor engages all of our emotions. Joy is the gift of love. Grief is the price of love. Anger protects that which is loved. I think of the mother bear and, protecting its young. And when we think that we have reached our limit, wonder is the act that returns us to love. So this might seem like a little fluffy to some of you to focus on wonder so much, but I'm trusting now that you see that there's a reason for this. That state of wonder, that exalted state, connects us to the divine presence within ourselves and within all, and is that love, is the way through all of that which seems to be ailing the planet at this point in time. So we live in a magnificent, ever-expanding, complex and wondrous universe, which is the creation of an infinite and eternal presence, spirit, God, whatever you want to call this source of the unified field that the physicists, the quantum physicists talk about, and this amazing creation. We and every person, plant, animal, mineral, every drop of water are a very necessary and important part of this glorious creation. And it is a divine creation. It's all part of the one whole. So the more we orient ourselves to the wonders around us, the more that we appreciate these wonders as parts of ourselves that we don't yet know, the greater our capacity to love and to experience joy and to solve any issues, to receive inspiration. So I'd like us just to end by everybody stretching your arms up in the air and saying, Spirit, show me the wonders of this day.
Spirit, show me the wonders of this day.
And when you do, take a breath, breathe in, and then begin to behold the majesty, the beauty, and the wonders of the divine all around you. Namaste, my friends.
Namaste.
And so it is.
So it is.
And so I would like to pass this now back to our songstress, our beloved songstress, Sharon.
Thank you so much for that beautiful talk, Kathleen. It was awesome.